Good evening. It's Tuesday, August 30th. Can't believe it's already the end of August. And I hope you had a good week and that you're enjoying your readings and the video and starting into this class. We have a wide range of students in our course, from kindergarten teachers through high school, with a couple of high school vice principals as well. So I'm glad that we have such a nice variety and a lot of viewpoints on our postings. I really enjoyed reading your first discussion board posting, and I kept a little chart of who you were, where you taught, what your subject area or grade level is, and I've been referring to that as I'm reading through your comments. It kind of helps me get a sense of who you are. On the discussion board 2, the video, most of you found Sir Kenneth Robinson very interesting, stimulating, challenging. You picked up on a lot of important points from him. Many of you talked about how he believes in teaching kids how to learn from failure. This is part of Carol Dweck's work with Mindset, if you're familiar with that work. He also talked a lot about allowing for and promoting creativity, and many of you commented on how that's disappeared in classrooms over the years and how you try and implement that in your own classrooms as well. And then, of course, the idea of educating the whole child and really not teaching just about your content, but keeping in mind the needs of all of your students. So I really enjoyed your comments and your insights from the video. For the videos, for the discussion board postings, I need to remind you that your postings need to be in on Thursday nights by 11:59. And then by Sunday at 11:59, you need to have commented at least twice on each question. So last week you had 2 questions on discussion board, so you really needed to have your 2 initial postings and then 2 follow-up postings for each one. The way this shows up when I enter your points is it shows me everything that you've posted for that question, so it's real easy for me to check through and see if you've made all of your postings. Most of you did, some of you did not. If you made at least an initial posting this week, I went ahead and gave you the 10 points, but starting next week I'm going to kind of have a hard line about that, and if all your postings are not in, I will not give you all the 10 points. So please don't make me have to make that determination, and make sure you get all of your work in. Another thing that I wanted to talk about on your assignments that you've uploaded is, please be aware that Blackboard is not compatible with Google. And so if you're working in Google Docs, you need to convert it to a Word document before you upload it, because in some cases I can't even open the documents at all, but almost always the formatting doesn't stay in the same format that you had. So please don't upload Google Docs. The other thing I need to remind you of is to make sure that you check your Eagles Mail every week. Last week I posted something about the new groups that were formed. I hope you all saw that email and read it. If not, go back and check it. I would advise you to check your Eagles Mail every couple of days, because it is the only way that I have to communicate with all of you. So if there's something I forget to put in this video, for instance, that I need to get out there to all of you, that's the only method that I have to do that. So please be sure and check it. Last week I did post the groups. I just posted them alphabetically. I think I said that in the email. This was not the collaborative assignment that was dependent upon similar content or grade level positions, so it didn't really matter, and I hope that all those groups work out well for you. If you have not yet contacted the people in your group, I recommend that you do that right away. On assignment 1, a couple of things for feedback. Please go into the APA resources that are on Blackboard and use those resources. Some of you did a great job with APA on your papers, and you either already were familiar with it or you did a good job of looking up what you needed to do. Some of you didn't have any APA formatting apparent, and some of you had some misconceptions about it. So it was spread across the board, and I tried to give feedback about that on your rubric. But what I did do for this week is I created a notes page that mirrors this video, and all the things I'm covering in this video are uploaded on that notes page in week 2. So in there I put, I also, not on the notes page, but I also uploaded this week a sample reference page. Many of you had an incorrect reference page, so I found a copy that really shows that well, so I uploaded that. And then on the notes page I made an example of an in-text citation, not a quotation, but an in-text citation. 2 ways that you can do that. Some of you knew how to do that. What you do need to know is that that only needs to be used once per paragraph. And a lot of you did a lot of quoting in your papers. We don't want you to use quotes as much as we want you to learn to paraphrase and synthesize information. That's going to be where you will go for your capstone project, and that's what we want you to practice throughout the program. So use quotes very sparingly, if at all, in your papers. On the running head, make sure that you put the words running head with a colon before your title, because on every page, some of you did it just on the title page, some of you didn't include the words running head at all, but include those words and the colon before your title on each page of your document. As I said earlier, I did put feedback on your papers, which I have not finished correcting all of them. It will probably take me each week until about Thursday to get all of your papers corrected. I like to do a few at a time so that I don't get too rummy and do a poor job giving you feedback or get tired of doing that. The feedback, if I don't know what your view is on your returned assignments, but what I see is a rubric that lists each portion of the assignment, and you can go in and click and see how many points you got for each section, and then I give you feedback at the bottom. I also cut and paste that feedback onto the face of the assignment where it has just your score, and you should be able to see your feedback in that box. So if you can't find the feedback or you can't see it, let me know, but do go in and look for it, because a lot of the feedback is very specific to errors that you made, particularly with APA, and it also has the positive things that I noticed about your paper that you did well. So I want to make sure you get that feedback. For week 2, this week, your assignments are posted on Blackboard, and I would begin by reading chapters 3 and 4. Use that graphic organizer that's uploaded there to collect your ideas and become familiar with the historical and psychological foundations of curriculum. And on the graphic organizer, you take your notes on one side and you have responses or applications on the other side. So that's where I would start. Then when you look at the discussion board assignment, it asks you to pick one area of focus from either chapter 3 or chapter 4 that has had an influence on our current understanding of curriculum. And then you are to find another article, an outside article, and do a literature review on that article. So what I did to try and help you was I noted on the notes page that I uploaded that on pages 85 and 86 of chapter 3 you have a table that condenses all of those perspectives and foundations of curriculum, and then I just put in each section of the chapter so that you can look at each part and see, was this a piece that resonated? Is this a piece that I want to pursue for an article? So I did that for both chapters, so you can take a look at those topics and see, is there an area there that you want to pursue? And then just to kind of give you a little jump on this, I put in a link to an ASCD website that has some topics that might tie in with this. Some of them refer directly to some of the topics in those chapters, This is not, of course, the only place that you can look, but it's a place to start. I have found in the past that sometimes teachers come in and say, I looked and looked and looked and I couldn't find anything. So I'm just giving you some links to get you started, to kind of whet your appetite and help you in that search. So that's week 2. You also want to begin to get a jump on week 3, and that's why I sent out that email last week about the groups. So with your groups, you're going to divvy up the work, and it needs to be divided up equally so that everyone is participating. You should be in touch with one another by now. And your prompt for that is to focus on an obstacle or a challenge that students face. This could be an obstacle or challenge in the classroom, or it could be one that is faced within the entire school. They give you lots of examples in that description of the assignment. One that comes to mind is the idea of bullying. So what they want you to do is to create this slideshow together. And what I did is I kind of took the rubric apart and I listed what should be on each slide to just kind of keep you focused so that you make sure that you are incorporating all the pieces of the assignment so that you can make sure it's complete. You can divvy up these slides. It does say on there that the PowerPoint has to look cohesive as if it's been done by one person, but you can divide those up. You also need 4 sources of information for this assignment. So you might each begin to look for an article based upon whatever obstacle or challenge you use. If you're having a hard time with some ideas, again, on the notes page that I uploaded, there are a couple of websites that might get you started or give you some ideas of where to look. So those are my notes for this week. If you have other questions or concerns, I have been trying to check my email pretty consistently. My cell phone is always on, so please feel free to get in touch with me. My job is to support you and provide for you what you need in this program to be successful. So please don't hesitate to contact me. Have a great week, and I'll look forward to looking at your work again next week. Bye.